have you ever felt that even though that you have no choice but to listen to the building or to feel the building following your head on top of your head, that you may say like, okay, after this building, I'm okay, but you're actually not.
But I'm not. Yeah, it takes a long time. It really takes a long time. The pain, sometimes you're okay, and then sometimes you're not. I'm sure you know the feeling, right?
Yes.
And then, they always ask me, do you regret anything? Is there anything you wish you hadn't gone through? But I think connecting the dots, because now I'm much older, so I look backward in time and I go, all those things that happened to me, I didn't really want to change anything because it made me a better person, a stronger person, and much closer to the Lord.
Hello amigas, welcome back to our favorite hangout spot right here at the beautiful Kenneth Cobonpue BGC Showroom, the official home of the Amigas podcast season 2. These where conversations are honest, unfiltered, sometimes hard to hear but always inspiring. And today's conversation, it's one that really stays with you because today we're slowing things down a little. We're talking about something we don't always say out loud. How do you trust again after you've been hurt? After the lies, the disappointment, the moments that blindsided you, how do you open your heart again without feeling like you're risking everything? How do you let someone in without losing yourself in the process? If you've ever felt guarded, scared, or unsure if you can love the same way again, this conversation is for you. And today we have the honor of sitting down with a woman I look up to, driven by a desire to empower people through confidence. Known as the beauty mogul of the celebrity stars, aesthetic dermatologist, media personality, entrepreneur, philanthropist, mother and wife, pioneer force in the Philippines beauty and wellness industry, a visionary. She is, of course, today's guest, and I'm very, very happy to have with me Dr. Vicki Belo.
Yay! Hello, my inaanak.
Yes. I was about to mention that, then I skip. Because I don't want to explain.
Once upon a time. But this, I think, when I was listening to the introduction, bagay to kay Priya.
Bagay?
Bagay na bagay sa ating dalawa.
Opo, diba? Because we all been through things, Dr. Vicki, right? And I think that part of growing up, it's maturing in terms of heart.
Yes.
Right?
But it hurts, right? But we don't grow unless we get hurt for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's part of the process.
Yes, it
right?
is, right?
It's like pruning. We need to go through certain things so that we can become who we're meant to be.
Right. But it's painful, no?
It is. It's never easy. There is no manual. And then usually what happens is that we learn through the process. Mm-hmm. We put through things that we wish we didn't, but then in the end, I think it's somehow fulfilling because then you understand why. And then it helps you to shape you as the person, the woman that you need to be.
And you get stronger. I said, Lord, I always pray and I always say, be gentle with me, Lord. Because it seems like the things that I go through are so dramatic. But actually, it's our fault. Sometimes the Lord tries to teach us something and He just throws a pebble. Something small, and then you don't listen. And then He throws a stone. Then you don't listen. Until bigla na lang, a building is already collapsing around you.
Building.
And then
you have no choice.
Okay, I'm listening now.
Gigising na.
Gising na, Vicki. Oo. So looking back at my life, but that's the only times that I grow the most. Mm-hmm. It's just that, it's really heart-wrenching.
But have you ever felt that even though that you have no choice but to listen to the building or to feel the building following your head on top of your head, that you may say like, okay, after this building, I'm okay, but you're actually not.
But I'm not. Yeah, it takes a long time. It really takes a long time. The pain, sometimes you're okay, and then sometimes you're not. I'm sure you know the feeling, right?
Yes.
And then, they always ask me, do you regret anything? Is there anything you wish you hadn't gone through? But I think connecting the dots because now I'm much older. I'm 69. So I look backward in time and I go, all those things that happened to me, I didn't really want to change anything because it made me a better person, a stronger person, and much closer to the Lord. So that's the point, I think.
Is there like a moment, Dr. Vicki, that you can point out that say, wow, this is really like what makes me, that I thought you break me, but actually helped me to be who I am today?
Well, I think it really started from the day I was born because I'm adopted, right? So that kind of was like a big deal for me because people knew and people in school would bully me and then they'd ask me things like, why were you given up for adoption? Is it because you're ugly?
Oh, wow.
And then, or why were you given up for adoption? Why didn't your parents love you? Is it because you're fat or whatever? And then, or then behind you, you hear people whispering, ampon lang yan, which means she's only adopted. That makes you somehow not as good as a real child. But that was the beginning of Belo Medical Group because I thought at 5 that, if you're ugly and you're fat, your parents don't love you, they give you away. That was my conclusion at 5. Of course, now I know it's not true. It's just that really my Belo parents had no children and my moms are sisters. So my Belo mom and my Belo dad begged my biological parents if they could have me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but when you're a child and kids are bullying you, you don't really understand. But I'm so happy I got adopted. Belo means beautiful. I'm sure you know that in many languages. So I think I was destined to be a beauty doctor. Plus, because I thought it was because I was ugly and fat that people gave me away. I said, I'll make everybody beautiful. I'll make everybody sexy. So that's the beginning of Belo. So I'm very blessed that early in life, I already knew where I wanted to go. I know many people who are much older, even in their 30s, in their 40s, they still don't know what the purpose in life is. But at least me, I knew when I was 5. So I'm very grateful for that.
Wow, I recommend you, Dr. Belo, because not everybody takes something so painful and turn it to a weapon to actually create something so beautiful, so Belo.
I'm finished with that. No more na that.
But it's amazing, in the Chinese culture, the ampon. Because I have a best friend, that's the same thing. She was also adopted, and she did, always like share with me that the hurts and the pain that she went through because people in school, even her neighbors, even within the family, would always not include her because she was ampon.
Yeah, right.
It was like a shame, right?
Yeah.
Something like so. But it's such a beautiful thing, like to adopt a child, to claim as your own, to give a good life to that child,
exactly.
and to empower them, like to
and
dream,
to be so loved.
Yes, exactly.
Right, because I was one of 9.
Oh wow!
So I think I was much more loved being one. If I was one of 9, maybe I would have gotten lost. When it's a very big family. How big is your family?
We just 2.
Two.
Eventually, my dad got married again, and I have a half sister, but I did not grow up with her. Although I am her godmother.
How cute!
Yeah.
How old were you when you became a godmother?
I was already in my 20s, like 22, 23.
Okay.
And then I always look after her. And one of the things that my dad always tell me, if something happens to me, ikaw bahala, ha? You take care of our sister. And I'm told him, don't worry, I'll take care of her.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like a sister-mommy relationship, from afar because she's still in Brazil. And then, I was already in the Philippines. But Dr. Belo, going back to that, do you think that going through that, did it make you softer or more guarded?
I think in the beginning, it made me more guarded. For example, when I was single, I never wanted to have a boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, I just said, I never had one, really. I think until I decided who I would want to marry. Because I never got into relationships. But I'll say, am I going to marry this guy? If I'm not going to marry this guy, I'm not going to do. So because I didn't want to get hurt. And somehow I thought that being married would ensure that I wouldn't be hurt. Because you're married already, so it's more permanent. And so I thought, but then I ended up separated. So that was wrong thinking.
So, Doc, what did that experience teach you about love?
Okay, so that experience was not... My parents, Belo, parents were very wonderful, but I think the problem started with other people. So they would tell me, some of my friends would tell me, I love my Belo parents very much, and they loved me, but I felt insecure because my friends would say, you know what? If you're not a good daughter, if you don't behave well, if you don't get good grades, they'll return you. And I was so afraid to be returned. So I ended up always trying to please, became a people pleaser. Also, I talk too much because it's a nervous speaking, because when I was an only child, I would entertain them every night. From stories about school. Sometimes I feel I'm still entertaining people. Even if I don't have to anymore, I'm still in that mode. It's almost instinctive that if I'm in a table in a party, I tend to talk a lot. I get nervous with silence because I got used to being the entertainer. So I was a daddy's girl, super daddy's girl. Are you a daddy's girl?
No.
No, you're not.
No,
Okay.
I was not. I was a mommy's girl.
Well, anyway, I'm a daddy's girl. So at least when I was young, so I adored my father. Wherever he went, I went. I'd go horseback riding with him, even if I'm so scared of horses.
Nice.
I would pretend, but the horse can tell, so they always run. Or else I'll play, at that time it was pelota or squash or go to the movies with him, just the two of us all the time. My mom was just like to stay home. And then one day, because I don't look like him at all, since I'm adopted, he's about 6 feet tall, and he's dark, Espanol, more of the dark side. One time we were in a Rotary party, and everybody kept going up to my dad, who's very, very, has a lot of integrity, very faithful, very good person. I like your girlfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like your girlfriend. I was only 11.
Oh wow.
But I was already developed. I had breasts. I was already this height. So everybody I like your girlfriend. And my dad he told me, Iya, I feel like I have to put a sign in my back saying, this is my daughter.
Wow.
And then he went home one day, and then he told my mom, I cannot be with her anymore.
Oh wow.
Because she's already growing up. You take over. So he just passed me from being with him every day, and then worst thing is he got another nephew my age, and that's who he took around all the time.
Wow.
So I remember being very dramatic, and like when they leave, I'll put my face in the glass, and I'll cry, and like, he's leaving me again. And then so that's another thing that made me very insecure about relationships. But I thought I was smart. So when I was dating, in my time, there were many more men than women. So there were many more suitors. Not like now, I notice there are less men, right?
Yeah. And the ones left, it's questionable if
The
they're
question,
men.
are they really men? And when they date, they only date one guy. Like, they don't have suitors, like, you can choose from.
Yeah.
They usually, that's it now. I said, with me, I even had a rule. I was so crazy. If today is Thursday, so if you ask me out on a date on a Thursday, I will go out with you until 12 midnight. And then I will change dates because it's already another day.
Oh my.
So I would tell them, I'm sorry, I have another date till about 1:30 in the morning. They're so confused. Like, they'll come to the house and there's another guy waiting, and then they'll, like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's already a different day. Yeah, but you know what? Men are so crazy. They like it. They really like you to give them a hard time. Because when I became, in my mind, I was kind of like I was a bitch in a way with the guys I was dating. I would really treat them badly, right? And they were so in love. They were so in love.
You're just good up to Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday.
It's already Friday morning.
No longer
But, no, but then when I got married, my husband, I gave him such a hard time. I was so breaking dates all the time. He would see me with another guy. I'd break the date at 4 in the afternoon. Then he'd see me in the evening with another guy. But he would never quit. He would never quit. So I thought, wow, he's so in love with me. This is the one I have to marry because he never quits. And then, but I had this vision in my mind that I'll show them how bad I can be, so that when we get married, they'll be so happily surprised that I'm very nice.
Okay.
Because of course, there's a bitchy side to me. I would say 10%, but there's 90% of me is nice. But I continually show the bitchy side. Because if they can take that, then they'll love me so much. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When we got married, he got so bored.
Because you're too nice.
I was too nice.
Oh my.
And I wasn't listening. Because he kept telling me, why are you so nice?
Oh, wow.
And I kept saying, I was showing you my bad side so that if you can take that, you'll be so happy when you marry me. I'm the perfect, because I said I'll be the perfect wife. And even if I was in medical school, I would really cook. I would wake up even if I didn't sleep 36 hours, I would never,
You always,
not
serve
be
him.
the wife, I think.
Yes.
I tried anyway. But he was so bored, I didn't realize. It was only after, when he started fooling around so much, then he told me way after, because we're still friends, he told me, you know what, you became so boring. You were just so good.
Oh my god.
And he knew the bitch. I said, oh my gosh. So I thought I was being smart. But you really have to be yourself.
Okay, ladies, listen to
stop
that.
pretending to be something else, because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the guys like me more when I'm not nice.
So basically that book, Why Men Love Bitches, it's true.
It's true, I think, but I can't pretend. See, I was really a bitch because I had like what? Sorry, I'm mayabang, but at any given time, I had at least 10 suitors.
Dr. Vicki,
Yeah.
we all can be bitches.
Yeah.
It's a matter of choice. I think
Exactly.
we all have a little bitch inside us that we control a lot. So what you're telling me right now, let it out.
Let it
her
out.
be.
Yeah, and you say to them, enough. Because when I was single, no, you can't treat me like that. But when I got married, I was a little like a trapo. You can step on me, you can do things, and I'll just take it because, I made a vow forever, whatever. And it was only when it got too much. And then you burst. And ayoko na.
I've been there, Dr. Vicki.
I know.
But,
You're like that also.
I'm too nice. I think that a little tweak here and there helps to keep the relationship alive.
Excitement going.
And it's really always good to put your foot down.
You didn't put your foot down?
Not really. I was too submissive. And that's what I learned from my past relationship, is that it's okay to be submissive at the right time, but not all the time. Because, two people are meant to, help each other grow. And then I think it's very helpful in the relationship that we somehow adjust to each other, not only one side adjusting. Because then there is a tendency that the other side becomes too
complacent,
gives you for granted, and feels like...
And finds you boring.
Yeah, boring.
That was the most insulting
feels
thing.
Like
you're so boring.
They're the king of the party or the queen of the party. And that shouldn't be the case. But going through that, Dr. Vicki, after going that experience where you felt that your husband at the time voiced out that you're way too nice and you're past already the relationship, to not have work anymore. Did you anytime felt like you put a wall up for love?
For love? No, I think I'm just such a romantic. I couldn't even get mad at him. That's how good I was. Until now we're best friends. He still calls me all the time and whatever. And I did put a wall up in terms of my love and my feelings for others, but I also did not want, which is a mistake, by the way, to suffer and not have a relationship. Languages of love. I need hugs. That's my language. Somebody used to always hug me. Just hugs. It's not the sex, it's the hugs. So I need a person.
Okay.
And I jumped into another relationship pretty quickly, just so I wouldn't have to suffer.
Okay.
The suffer of being separated, which is such a mistake. Because for me, marriage is a death. The ending of a marriage is like somebody died.
Yeah, that's true.
The relationship died. And you have to mourn. You have to mourn your relationship. You have to go through those 5 stages of grief, right? And I didn't want to go through it because it was so painful.
Shortcut.
So within 3 months, I had a new guy I was dating and I was having fun. But when you will hit a wall, you really have to go through it. I don't know if that's God's plan, but I think the sooner you go through it, I think if you break up, you should be alone for at least a year. Are you alone a year?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I was alone. I've been alone for 2 years, Dr. Belo, and that's what I did because I've been with that person for so many years. I did not want to go into a relationship as a band-aid. I wanted to go through all these stages and really be okay on my own.
Congratulations. It's very smart.
Thank you.
Really? But was it very painful for you?
It was very painful because I actually did not mourn that relationship just for the 2 years that I was out of the relationship. relationship. I've been mourning that relationship for years because there is a lot of things happening in the relationship that were completely against my beliefs and my core. And it was very painful for me to accept like the fact that someone could do those things to me, especially with the fact that I love that person so much, and I was willing to be the perfect wife, and I was doing everything right by the books, going even beyond and above. And then suddenly I was mistreated like that, you know. So it is painful to accept and to understand that it's not about you. It's never about you. You know, two people need to be...
I think it's very important.
Yes, two people need to be complete. You know, two people need to be whole
when they
for a
go in.
relationship to work. Because if you go into a relationship thinking that you'll be able to fix everything by yourself, that you're enough, no, you're not. It's like there is a need really of two to tango. There is a lot of things that I did, Dr. Vicki, to make myself feel safe when I was out of that relationship. What about you? Is there something that you did to make you feel safe again?
Actually, I got married at 22. No, I think I guess 33 I split up because we were together 12 years. And my mindset was wrong, totally wrong, which is anything you can do, I can do better. You're going to fool around on me? Fine, I'll fool around. So I went back to being the bitch Vicki. And that's so wrong, you know. So the best thing that has happened to me really in my life is I became Christian. And that really put me in a knowing what is wrong, what is right, because otherwise it's like, how dare you? A lot of rejection, a lot of ego. How much of your pain was ego?
Part of it was in the beginning, especially because I come from a background where I won like 10 beauty titles. And not that I feel that I was better than anyone else, but I knew my worth. So I knew that was a good catch. And then suddenly I'm just given for granted. And it's like I'm treated like I'm, you know, worse than someone that didn't achieve the things that I achieved. So I really felt bad. My ego was destroyed. But more than that, Dr. Vicki, what was destroyed was really my heart. Because I really poured completely
I know,
my
I could see
heart
the love
out
there. I was there in your wedding, remember? Since I'm your ninang.
Yes, my nina sa kasal.
But I never saw you. It was always your partner that I used to see. But
yeah, because he was everywhere and I was nowhere. I was always home.
But so if you have advice to give to them, I mean, it's good that you were whole. You have to realize it's not about you. I think I always tell Scarlett now, who you marry is the most important decision you're going to make in your life. It will determine whether your life will be happy or sad.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, this romantic love, infatuation, yeah, that's so exciting in the beginning, but after a couple of years, you know, it's not always like that. If you see red flags along the way,
yeah,
and I'm sure you did.
I did.
But you just brush them aside like, no, he changed for me.
Because
he
it was what I was promised. I was very naive in believing everything
How
that
old
was
were you when you got
promised.
married?
I was 27.
Ah, okay.
I was not that young.
Yeah, but it's still young.
You know, but I was not that experienced. That was my fourth boyfriend, something like that.
And he's very charming.
Very charming. You know, he's a bolero.
Bolero talaga.
Full of bola-bola. But anyways, coming from that relationship, Dr. Vicki, there's a lot of fears that were embedded in me that I needed to work through the years. Like for the past how many years I've been working those fears.
Did you see a psychologist or?
Not really. I didn't really see a psychology, but I'm also Christian. So I did read a lot of the Bible. I did have a lot of talks to myself. I read a lot. I watched a lot of things, self-help books. And I kind of did a lot of introspective of what are the things that I did that I could do differently that somehow allowed other people to mistreat me. And I think most of that route that I decided to take was introspection, like trying to see what is the root of letting those things to happen to me, because I really believe that there is nothing that can happen to you that you do not allow.
Right.
So even like for the person that you pick to get married, to the friends that you have, there is a reason why. It doesn't come from nowhere. And I learned by doing that and by addressing and by going to the root of the cause is that I had issues with my dad.
Were your parents separated?
Separated.
That's why.
I had issues with my dad. Daddy issues. I had issues with my dad that was never resolved. Unfortunately, he already passed away. I grew up seeing my mom being mistreated, and maybe that normalized on me, even though I knew was wrong. But there is a tendency that we end up going to the past, the comfortability. It's very dangerous, because whatever you feel comfortable, you know, whatever you grow up seeing without noticing, if you're not aware and conscious about it, you end up going to that route. So I've seen a lot of things growing up that I was averse. But then I found myself in stage of my life that I was going through the same freaking things. I'm like, what's happening here? So I needed to address the root cause of that. Why? Because I had so many choices. Why did I make this particular choice? Why did I pick this particular person? It was never about him. You know, it was about what I was comfortable with, what I grew up
It felt
seeing.
like home.
It felt like home, and that's very dangerous. And that, knowing that, of course, it started to somehow, it was like an eye-opening to me. And all those fears, when I addressed the root cause, it started to go away, because now I know why. What about you?
Well, I think it was a lot about being adopted, also just wanting to have somebody love and hold me. Talking about walls, I think I did have a wall. I would never give 100% of myself, or even 75% of myself. It's like 50, because you can disappear at any time. I think the reason that Hayden and I ended up together is because he was so young and we were just friends. I didn't have a wall with him because, I'm thinking he's just a friend. He wanted to learn to be a cosmetic surgeon, plastic surgeon. So he'd come to the clinic, and then it was more a mentor. And we had so much fun. We were laughing all the time. But I never thought it would be romantic because I had a boyfriend. He had a girlfriend. I was actually trying to pair him up with Crystal because Crystal didn't take medicine. So I was thinking, well, Crystal, if you didn't take medicine, then the other alternative we have is that you should marry a doctor. And then when I met Hayden, I said, good looking, tall, doctor, smart, funny. I came home and I told Crystal, I found your husband. And she said, Mommy, what are you talking about? I have a boyfriend. I said, well, just meet him. Maybe you might like him. And at least I think he'll be a worthy successor to me for Belo Medical Group. And then when they met, she said, yeah, he's cute, but I have a boyfriend. And he had a girlfriend. So there was no wall because it's not supposed to have, your friends.
Yes.
And I think that's a very good basis for a relationship. I think I just made a mistake because one day he was drunk. And then he said he loved me. So it's like a magic word in my head. Even if he was drunk, I believed him, that kind of thing, that it changed everything. But the reason I think I was able to forgive him with all the things that I had to go through, because my most important value at that point in time, I wasn't Christian, just to put there's a before Christ and after Christ, was that I never looked stupid. Like I always wanted to look, composed, smart, whatever. And then when we went through that whole, you were already around when that thing happened, right? So it was very humiliating for me, but I never would leave him, no matter what, because he's my friend. It's not anymore because he's my boy, because we had broken up, but it was like, this guy is not okay. And if I leave him, something might happen to him. And then he was fine. Then I left. I mean, kind of fine, but it was almost to the point, he was also dragging me down. I said, if I stay, I knew he was okay, but he had some bad habits that I thought would drag me down, and I wasn't strong enough to fight it. And of course, I have my own kids to think about.
Of course.
So I left, and that's when he found the Lord, actually.
Oh, wow.
So he became a Christian ahead of me.
Wow, amazing.
And then after he was a Christian for about 6 months, he came back to me and said, I've changed.
Oh, wow.
And I said, yeah, right. Tell me more. I've heard this all before. And he said, no, I've become Christian, and, can you come with me so you can see I've changed. We went abroad. We went to his mentor, Rabbi Zacharias. I really saw he changed. And then I accepted the Lord. You should make Jesus the third person in your marriage. I think it's impossible if it's just the two of you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really, you have to have somebody higher. So the three of us are in the marriage.
Would you say that the experience helped you to learn how to trust again?
Yes, but no. Yes, it made me. The Lord told me to
Expand,
trust
Dr.
again.
Vicki.
No, because I didn't want to get married. I
Okay.
really didn't want to get married because I didn't trust him. And his excuse to me why he would fool around, even if he was Christian already and it was less, is because he wanted to get married.
Okay.
And I was thinking, yeah, right. What an excuse. He goes, I really want to marry you, but you don't want to get married. So I'm looking around if there's somebody that I could marry and have a family, but I don't want to leave you because I love you. That's what he would say. And I thought, wow, this sounds so bola. But the Lord would not let me sleep anymore because, of course, we were not that pure. So the Lord said, you marry him.
Yeah.
And I go, marry Hayden, who is younger, who is good looking, liked by women, and he loves women as well. It's kind of like, I thought, putting a nail in my head and hammering it. I said, so Lord, I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe I can be the exception. Can you accept me? Then he said, no, if you marry him, I will change him more. I will take care. Let me take care of Hayden, but you do the proper thing.
Okay.
And he really changed. From the day we got married, Jesus kept his word. You have daddy issues.
I used to. No more.
Used to.
Me, like, I grew up without my dad around.
Already.
Yes, I grew up without him around. Like, I would see, let's say not completely, I would see him once a year on vacation time. And he didn't really act like a dad. And there is a lot of partying around, like with him and drinking and plus. I just felt that I didn't have that love of a father. He's always absent. There is something missing growing up.
But
Something
it sounds like
missing.
your husband, ex-husband.
With my ex-husband, basically what happened was, without knowing, because he kind of has, my dad and him are so much alike.
That's what I'm saying. You're trying to
much
get your
alike.
dad, right, to stay.
I didn't know that, Dr. Vicki. By that time, I didn't know. I just thought that because I like, people that are alive, that are funny. My dad is so funny. Like the life of the party, everybody loves him. He's a sweet talker and so on, so on. So I ended up got attracted to men that were like that. That were like the life of the party, funny, sweet talker. And then the thing with that is that there is nothing wrong with that. The problem is that those are not only the characteristics that my ex-husband had that, same as my dad. And that was the issue. And I think like on the process, what I learned is that I actually needed to fix myself first so that I was not going to look for things missing outside.
Exactly.
And so that's what I did on the process of healing. And naturally, I needed to put boundaries down. There are things that I look in my next relationship that are very different from the things that I allowed to happen in my past relationship. When it comes to you, like if you can compare the experience you have, you're married once, you're still married now, you have a second marriage. Is there like boundaries that you can say, no, I have those boundaries today regardless of what they do? Is there still fears?
I think now, well, first of all, Hayden and I have been together 21 years, so I'm so proud.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's a long time.
Very long.
Also, he's a very, very sweet man, very kind. He's really, really, really a good person, and he wants to be a good person. But temptation, comes in. My boundaries, I do put, like now I don't get angry. I don't fight. I just go, that's not acceptable.
Okay.
I have more respect for myself. I will not, there are certain things, I'm not bitchy anymore, but there are things, if you just respect me,
Yes.
or if I feel you're not at all listening to me, and you're not giving me any importance, because sometimes men, it's all about work. You know how when they're so sure of you, then
Yes.
I need a relationship, I need you here. Even just an hour of talking a day, just make me naman pansin.
Of course.
So as he's gotten older, he's become more and more mature. Now I realize what he did when he was younger is because he's so young, right? They can only understand this much, and I'm expecting him to understand this much. But he was only 25. How can he know, right? But as I see him get older, his realizations are very deep, and because he's such a good Christian and he reads like you and understands what's right and wrong, then now we are on the same wavelength. The thing about him is really very kind. He's not the kind of person that I would frustrated and shout at. Now our relationship is better because there's more communication. But yes, the boundaries are there in the sense that I'm not going to be somebody you can step on and treat badly. No more. It's not, I always tell him, if you don't love me anymore, just tell me. I won't ever stop you. I won't even bother to fight for you, which I think is not Christian, because we're supposed to fight. Just so he knows I have my boundaries, and I don't want to fight if ever something. I hope never, but quietly with dignity.
Yes.
Right. Tell me, and I'll be fine.
I think the major dilemma with a lot of women, Dr. Vicki, is that it's so hard to find the balance between what your heart wants and then what is right for yourself. Your heart is full of love. Women are there, just love. They love. We love as mothers, we love as wives, as friends. But then sometimes loving too much does not allow to have some love left for you.
Yeah, that's what I forgot, I think.
Yeah. So, going through the experience,
did you forget yourself?
Yes, I forgot myself for many, many years. And then I realized that I'll never be able to truly be happy if I don't love myself first. And I think that's what helped me somehow to draw some boundaries and put up some walls that were needed with certain people, so that I have the space and the opportunity to actually heal from within.
Are you healed?
I think so.
What?
I want to believe I am. But at the same time, when you go through that, of course, you need to be a little bit more wise and spot the red flags, because they're there for a reason. And I've ignored so many of them because I was just loving. And when you're loving, there's a tendency that the people that you love can do no wrong, because you just really go blind. It's just natural. But then again, with maturity, experience, pain, you learn somehow, even if you don't want to spot the red flags. And it's like your duty with yourself to do something about it, to try to at least understand why they're placed there, and to guard your heart. Because in the end of the day, no matter what you do or what you don't do, you can really not control people. They'll do what they want to do.
Exactly.
But you can control what comes next. Your reactions, how you engage or not, what kind of boundaries you put.
Wow, you're so wise now.
I'm wise. Woohoo!
Finally.
But I think it's all part of maturing and really just going through things. I think we cannot just be born like that. We need to grow through pain. Pain helps to shape you. But at the same time,
don't stay there.
Yeah, no, you
don't avoid it, but don't stay there.
Because it's part of living. And then when you know those little tricks that you can do to help yourself, to find the right people, to surround yourself with the right people, to love yourself first, then there is hope upon that, because then now you know that yes, it is possible as long as you put the right.
Are you
boundaries.
ready?
Very ready.
Okay,
I'm
guys.
so ready.
How many applicants are there so far?
Oh my God, let's not talk about that. But Dr. Vicki, after going all of that, of course, your mom and your daughters are already grown adults. She's almost my age. I think we're the same age.
But are you friends?
Yeah, we're friends.
You see each other all the time, or something?
We've seen, now not so much because I've been very busy. But yeah, I met your daughter long time ago. I was not even married. And then we reconnected recently. And of course, you have an adorable, younger daughter.
Yeah, but don't forget my son.
Yeah, you have the son. It is the eldest, right? The son is the eldest.
Yeah, he's my eldest, but everybody thinks Crystal's the eldest. So he's already turning 46. And then it's so nice actually to have a child in your later years, because when we had Quark and Crystal, of course you're building your career.
Yes.
I would study abroad. I think I'm a much better mother with Scarlett than I was with Crystal, so I feel bad about that, right? But so it's so nice to have a child. She's only 11 now.
Yeah.
So I just came from her. She had a student-led presentation in her school, and she's telling me all the things she does. It's just so much fun. And because I have so much more time now.
Coming from that experience of being a mom, marrying twice, can you say confidently, knowing everything that you know and being through everything that you've been through, you are actually in a stage of your life where you can actually trust again?
Yeah, for sure. You know what I prayed for? Because I didn't have it. Because so many people, it's not just love life, but even people, normal people would cheat me, would steal from me,
Yes.
would like that. I go, Lord, how come, why am I so tanga? Like, how come I can't tell, right? So I prayed to the Holy Spirit and I said, please give me discernment to know when a person is sincere.
Yes.
And to know if they're a good person and if they're bad people. Tell me so I know, because I get fooled by the facade, and if they're kind and naman the sweet talkers, they can appear so good, right?
Yes.
Now if I meet somebody who is not going to be good for me, my hair stands
Oh,
in the back
wow.
of my neck.
That's
It's been
intuition.
wonderful, and I've been able to really protect myself from bad people already. And if I'm like this about it, sometimes even if I know I'm gonna get cheated, there are some people na awa ako. So I mean, but at least I know. Yeah, so I love it because now I have discernment.
Yes.
And it always works.
It's a
It always
superpower.
works. It's a superpower. Yes, I think it's a superpower because now I don't get hurt anymore. It's so
Oh, that's
painful when
amazing.
your friends cheat you.
Yes.
It's so painful when you have employees that you love so much and then you find out they're stealing or they're making you, I mean, they've been cheating you for so long. And I'm like, and you've been so kind. Have you ever been cheated?
Oh yeah, many times. And I think that's something that comes also because I think everybody has intuition, just like red flags. We're just not sometimes in tune with that. We simply ignore it. But me, like in my case, if I meet someone and I don't like them, they can even be super nice. I just have this feeling, well, I don't like this person. I keep my, all my eyes, everything I keep like on that person because something is off. Which means my intuition is telling me that I'll have a problem with that person, and it always happens. So I think it's something.
So you've had discernment a long time.
Oh yeah, not before, not so much. I knew that. Like I meet people, and for some reason I don't like them, but I would ignore. Just like the red flags, I ignore. Oh, they didn't do anything. They're being so nice to me. Like why I don't like them? Like it's unfair of me not liking them. But now I learned that actually is my intuition telling me, you know what, Bri, be careful with that person. So I just keep my eyes open, and I honestly try to avoid interactions, business deals, things like that, because it always happens. If I ignore, something comes along and I get disappointed by that person. They try to cheat me or they do something to hurt me. With maturity comes discernment and comes also wisdom. And we need to act on it. We cannot just have all of those things and be dead, man. So you really need to learn how to read your intuition and use that as a weapon to enable you to avoid heartaches.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very bad to have heartaches. It's bad for your health. And it's
Bad for your cuties.
Yes, papangit ka.
Pangit ka. Dr. Vicki, do you believe that people can change?
I saw that in Hayden. So big a change. Actually, Hayden was funny because he was a very good young man. A Chinese family, goes to school, typical, goes home, studies. That's why he was very good in school. And then when he came into my life, introduced him to a totally different world, right? Showbiz, social, people who are very wealthy. And he was only 25. He was lost. Like, oh my gosh. And suddenly all these stars who are, some of them Belo babies, would get a crush on him, would flirt with him, and then he became bad. It was only when I left him that he turned to the Lord, and then he became back to what he was when he was younger. People do change. Even my ex-husband now, I was so happy because for the longest time, he would deny anything that he fool
Never
around or
done.
anything. Never. So you always have that little doubt that maybe I'm wrong, right? Even if you kind of know you're right, it's not like unless you've caught them.
Or you
say,
recorded them.
Am I imagining things? Yeah. And then, but lately, only last year, he said, I'm so sorry
Oh, wow.
for everything I put you through. You don't deserve it. And it was such a validation for me that I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And he was really sorry. So he's changed. I think when you get older You realize, there's more depth in you because they're just having a good time. I think when they're younger, when they get older, they start, you're getting closer to the end. So you start looking at your life and you realize. So people definitely.
It's possible.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
Don't tell me you want to go back to your ex
no,
if he
course
changes.
Dr. Belo, we've been divorced for a year already, separated for 2. I'm in a completely different book of my life.
Have you changed?
I've changed a lot. Like, not my essence. I've needed to adapt in order to thrive. So I would say that I was pruned.
Okay.
I was pruned, and a lot of wisdom was imparted on me, and I'm trying to make use of that.
Okay.
That's why this podcast. The things, yes,
it's helping a lot of women. Helping women.
Yes, but for me, people can change. It's very hard, but in order for them to change, 2 things must happen. Number 1, they might feel like they died. The feeling's not that physically death,
but something inside.
But when something happened that completely destroyed them, that they feel that it's death. I think that's the time that they really wake up, and that's the time that change is possible.
That's true.
And the other thing is that, again, is also a death, but death to self, when they really give their life to Jesus. Right. So I think those are the only times that someone can truly change. And of course, through experiences, maturity comes. We all somehow get older. Hopefully not physically, but I mean, we mature, the years pass by, and you start to realize the things that truly matter. And you start to realize the stupid things you've done, and the people that you lost that could still be around you, and could be enjoying that ride with you. But because you were irresponsible, too selfish, and not self-aware, you simply allow those people to leave you, or you left them. Comes a lot of realization, but not necessarily change. You can acknowledge something you've done wrong, do it differently, if knowing what you know now. Because in the end of the day, it's all about how you perceive yourself to be. And then a lot of the things that people do that hurt other people or that do wrong, it comes from a place of insecurity. They're not sure of themselves. They're not sure of their spot. And because of that, they act out on it. Get all the attention of all these women, and then they make me feel important. But do I feel important on my own? So, it feeds an insecurity, an ego thing. That's why they entertain. And so on with so many parts of the life, like of a person. For me, they can change, but it takes to die. Literally, for
die
that
to self.
To self,
and resurrect a different person.
To be able to allow change to happen. If you could point out today how safe love, of how the right love feels like, what is it for you?
I feel very safe, and I feel very loved by both my husband now and my daughter. They focus on you, and they're willing to sacrifice for your happiness sometimes, as I am willing to sacrifice for their happiness. And it's not based on, if you do this, I love you, or if you give me this, I love you.
Not result driven.
It's a different feeling. It just feels so safe. Our little family of 3, wherever we go, we're together. I got traumatized last month because we were in the Milan Fashion Week, Scarlett's birthday on March 3, and the bombing happened, I guess, February something. They canceled my flight on Emirates, right? Because most of the time when you go to Europe, you go through your Middle Eastern airlines, and you can't go to Dubai anymore. They were bombing it. I was so afraid that I couldn't get to her, because at that time, Ann Curtis was we were in the same place, having the same problem, because her Dahlia's birthday was March 2. And Scarlett's is March 3. For Anne, it was even worse because they were in Dubai. That's where they were celebrating the birthday of Dahlia. And so Dahlia would say, "Mommy, there's so many kaboom, kaboom here." So she could see the bombs being intercepted. Actually, Anne left Saturday morning to go to Milan already, right away, before the end of Milan Fashion Week. And then she fell asleep on the plane because she was so tired. And then, when she woke up, they're landing, she heard, landing in Milan, Malpensa Airport. She goes, "What's happening? Why are we back?" And then it was a crazy Like, what are we going to take? Are there flights to go home? So now I made a deal. I'm not going to leave if we're not the three of us, right? Because that's really where, now that I've been successful, thank you, Lord. Now that I have, I'm not greedy. I don't need all that money in the world, that I'm really okay. And now that para family is so important, and safety and just health. And loving each other is of paramount importance. It's not, because when you're young, it's like, ooh, I want to have a nice house. And I remember when I was young, my parents are very practical, and they would never, ever let me buy designer, like Vuitton or Chanel or whatever.
Yes.
So it became an obsession for me. And one day I'm going to make so much money, I'm going to buy all these things. So all these things, now you look at it and it's like, it's nice to have, but not important in your life at all, right? It's really the love and the family and just being together and safe. That's so, like, now I'm not going to travel anymore. I used to travel every month, but I said no. Now I'm just gonna, until she has vacation and we're together. Because the scariest thing is that there was really a chance, if the war had escalated, that we wouldn't be able to get to her, or she wouldn't be able to get to us.
I think it gets to a point where I hope everybody gets to that point to really realize what truly matters. Because yes, it's nice to have nice things, and it's very empowering to be able to afford those nice things.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, what's really nice to have is the right people around you.
Exactly.
The people that you love, the people that love you back, and feel like family.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think a lot of people, sometimes they're too busy with the noise of the world out there, that they're not really understanding of what it truly matters until the day that they don't have that anymore. So I think it's a blessing to be able to get to a point in your life where you can actually know that without having to lose that. Because a lot of people just wake up for life when they lose.
I know, right?
And that's so painful. And that's very freaking stupid. Don't let yourself to get to a point where you, in order to appreciate and to value something, you need to lose it. Because then you might not have your way back to that person or to that situation, to that opportunity. And then it's very crucial that, you know yourself and you work on yourself in order to be able to love people the right way.
Exactly.
So, be able to love how love feels like for me, Dr. Vicki, if I talk to myself right now, for me, love feels like comfort. Love feels like peace.
I love that word. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but it is what
peace.
you have.
Like love feels like safety. Like if those are the things that I can get through love, then wow, I'm being loved the right way.
I have a question. You have a daughter, right?
Yes, I have a daughter.
So she's basically going to have daddy issues, I guess.
Hopefully not.
What are you doing so she won't have?
I make sure that she spends as much time with her father. I make sure that he's included in her life. I make sure that the relationship is thriving, because the fact that I'm no longer with her dad, it shouldn't deprive her of having a relationship with her father.
Is she very close to him?
She's very close to her dad. They constantly hung out, do things together. They talk a lot. She gives him a lot of advice, by the way. She's very insightful, has a lot of wisdom.
Okay.
I think by just watching, observing things unfold around her, I'm constantly talking to her about life, about things
So
that
you
happen.
are friends with your ex?
I cannot say we're friends because we're not in a place where we can truly be friends, because we see life differently and we have different goals. I'm completely in a different book of my life, and perhaps he's not yet in that place. So I understand that what happened between me and him was necessary for me to become who I am today, and the lessons that I needed to take from that relationship, it was taken. Not all relationships are meant to, to be until the last day of your life. Some people pass by your life just to teach you lessons, to make you grow, to prune you, and it's okay, Whatever needed to happen between me and him came to an end, and it's okay because that was the purpose of that relationship. But then again, in order for me to have a friendship with him, which I actually find very weird to have to be friends with your ex, I think we can be, civil. But friends, I think it's weird, Dr. Vicki. But, I think for us to be able to actually say that, okay, we are very civil or we are doing the right thing.
And you never say anything bad about him
Yes,
in front
no,
of her.
I really don't. Because, You need to realize as a parent that when you say something bad about your ex, you're actually hurting your child, because that's the parent of that child. So, and if you tell to that child, you're hurting her or him. You're not hurting the other party. The third party is not even hearing what you're saying. The child is the one absorbing it. I cannot say that I've never said anything bad, or maybe not bad, but the truth. There is a time that I would,
You're so angry, it just comes out.
Like, not angry, but she would hear things like, because I'm hurting. But it's not I was telling her, your dad is a heart. No, because I always make sure to tell her, your dad loves you. Your dad's a good dad. He's a good provider. I always make sure to tell the things that I know to be truth. I cannot say what is not true, but I avoid as much as possible when I'm mad, when I'm upset with a situation, to say something. Because it's not her fault, and she shouldn't be the shock observer of my problems, my issues with her dad. So I'm always trying to draw a line to let her know that no matter what, he loves her so much. I love her so much. The dynamics shouldn't change. The only thing that changes is that we're no longer sharing a home. We have a different setup for a family. And it's okay, because she can see I'm very happy. She can see her dad is happy. And because of that, she is happy. Because kids need happy parents, not perfect one.
Okay. That's
what I try to, to imply and to teach her. But of course, that comes from also going through a lot. As a child, as an adult, I've been also in a situation my parents were not together, and I commend my mom because she never badmouthed my dad. She always makes sure she would be the one to send us with the ticket, with money for food to our dad, so that we could spend time with him. Because if depending on him, I wouldn't even see him once a year.
No.
Yeah, which now I know, being a grown-up adult, but at the time I did not know. I thought my dad wanted me around, and maybe he did want, he just didn't want to spend for it. So my mommy spent instead. That's how amazing she was. But then it takes a lot, even as an adult, to find out things like that, and it's still painful because he's supposed to love me unconditionally. And he's supposed to wanted me around, and maybe that's part of the problem that I detected of picking people that somehow resemble my dad, and me wanting them so much around, even though that they did not deserve me and my company. So now I know better, and hopefully I make wiser choices. But going back to our amigas, Dr. Vic, if you could give them a word of advice on how to learn how to trust again, what would you tell them? Like, is there something that you can teach them to actually be over the fear and to allow themselves to love and be loved the right way?
Am I wise enough to say something? I think number one, you're right. You have to love yourself. And you have to be whole. I know there's that line from that movie with Tom Cruise, you complete me.
I know, right?
No. Do not look for anybody to complete you. You're already complete. And then you have to know that I think it's very important to be Christian and to know that Jesus loves you. God loves you. I mean, if the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords loves you, then you are definitely someone who is very worth loving, right?
Yes.
And you have to know that in your heart, so that you will not allow other people to disrespect you, to treat you badly, and you know your worth. Because sometimes we make adjustments. Also, to trust again, if you've already been hurt, remember that is a story, it's in your past, right? And you have to learn from that what happened to you, so that it will not happen to you again in the future. And you have to do a lot of, like I like what we did, which is to not date for a long time, really read books, pray a lot, get to know herself better. She's changed. She's going to be a different person who will find a different person.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot need the person, because it's not a good sign. A person that has to love you for who you are and not want to change you all the time, but also want what is best for you. And you have to see that they're willing to sacrifice for a little of themselves to make you the best version of yourself, just as you are supposed to sacrifice also to make them grow. Because this thing of keeping each other, I thought if they need me, then they won't leave me. No, it's not true. They will not leave you because they need you, but they will fool around with you. They have a hole inside and they're trying to fill it. And the only person that can fill it is really the Lord. So they say there's a vessel in your body that only Jesus can fill. I would read the Bible like you did. I would pray that the Lord will protect you from anybody that would I don't think they wish you harm. It's just the way they are.
Yes.
And don't ignore the red flags, people. That's always my advice to my girls now. Like, I have one particular actress who has been also no father. She's always falling for the wrong man. Always, always, always. And then now she's always being paired to someone that is also showing all the red flags. I said, I hope you've learned your lesson. Yes, I've learned. But I watch her and I'm wondering. I keep praying for her because, sometimes the need to be in a relationship, to feel loved and treasured, even by somebody who you know is going to end up at the end of the relationship hurting you, it's not worth it. It's really, learn your lesson, learn it fast. When God throws you a little pebble, listen. Stone, listen. Don't wait for the building to collapse on you.
I love that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Vicki. No, sharing so much wisdom.
Yeah, you listen to me. I'm old now, huh? I'm probably, I've been through so much. Yeah, I would love to spare you the pain. But even when I watch Crystal, sometimes you really have to go through the pain to grow. You can tell, I'm sure you're telling your daughter this and that, but you have to stand by as you watch her and just be ready to catch her.
That's true.
When she goes through something. Right?
Yeah, I think in order for us in general, to become who we meant to be, we really need to grow to, a little bit of pain. It can't be a perfect life. It cannot be painless.
Oh, yeah.
But it's amazing and a blessing to have people that will catch you.
You're right.
Right.
Always just be there.
Just to catch them.
Yeah.
Thank you for this very inspiring
Thank you, Prish. When you invited me, I'm so honored. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for making me look younger than I am.
You're so beautiful. Yeah, you look
so
amazing.
Much.
You're perfect. You're such a sweetheart, though. How can somebody so beautiful grow up not conceited or mayabang? How did that happen?
I think we need to say thank you to my mother. She's been through a lot, and I've watched her being through a lot, and I think that humbled me. It humbled me and taught me. But again, there is still things I was not aware that I need to address, and maybe that's why, I was put in certain situations, and God allowed me to suffer because God doesn't want their children to, His children to suffer. But sometimes, in order for us to become who we need to, He allows us, but He's there to catch us.
Exactly.
So that's what matters. So,
anyway,
amigas, if you're being
my amigas
to try again, let this be your reminder. Your story didn't end with the person who hurt you. You're allowed to take your time. You are allowed to protect your heart, but don't forget, you deserve to feel again too. So trust doesn't come back all at once. It comes back in small moments, little by little, and with the right people, it does come back. And when it does, it feels different, softer, safer, real. Thank you for being here with us, for being open, for being honest, for being real, because healing isn't always pretty and trusting again isn't easy. But conversations like this remind us we're not here alone. This is Amigas Podcast, and we see you on our next episode right here at our favorite hangout spot, the beautiful Kenneth Cobonpue Showroom, our home to Amigas Podcast this season 2. Stay soft, stay strong, and always choose you. Bye-bye, amigas. See you next Saturday.